course, if it is abrupt, I don't think they can do anything about it. So now, the decisions of council in relation to shifting position, in relation to the signing of the contract. So when the contract was signed, what would you say was the decision of council in giving a go-ahead for council to sign an agreement with ESPAS?
So there should be GPPA approval and there should be a council decision on the matter.
Okay. Now, the approval, of course, will stem up from we have seen the GPPA approval, yes, but we haven't seen General Council's approval or agreement on the matter, stating clearly, no uncertain terms, that KMC gave it go ahead to sign a contract with ESPAS.
If that is not drafted, that would be a major issue in terms of why it not be drafted, because I remember specifically the proprietor of ESPAS presented to the General Council twice,
right,
where a vote happened and it was unanimous with the general body, where the guarantees, terrain, build, the quality of the product, and there was a request for discount, and the ESPAS CEO or the Q Group CEO announced at the General Council that he would give a discount of 10 million for the invalid trucks and also the optional trucks. That all in my presence.
Yes. Let me show you the Council resolution of the 1st of October 2018.
Yes.
Yes. Can you please read to us the resolution?
So 31st October 2018, Resolution 1, whereas members discussed the need to address the problem associated with waste collection and management, whereas members agreed to work with Q Group to ensure the procurement of 19 waste collection vehicles for the 19 wards within the municipality, resolve that the loan agreement with Q Group be effected and council serve as guarantor to 19 wards to ensure the delivery of the vehicles.
Yes. So this was certainly before the approval from GPA, correct?
Yes.
Now, in 2018, this was certainly before the other would be supplies, because it was a restricted tender before they were even contacted.
Yeah. So in line with what I've said before, initially the idea was, how does the WDC work with ESPAS directly?
Yes. Yes.
So I think this is the spirit of that resolution in the General Council,
right,
where the council is under the impression that they would partner as WDCs with ESPAS.
Right.
But the situation evolved.
Right. Yeah. Now, my point is, if as far back as 2018, ESPAS Motors have already had an edge and an agreement with KMC. For instance, they've already understanding that even, and it is clearly stated in the resolution, that the KMC should go ahead and work with ESPAS in this. And then subsequently in 2019, you have advertisements for bids being rolled out. Would that be because of transparency and fairness in bid processes?
So not really. So if I could give you some context,
right,
this was the council being 3 months in office.
Yes.
Not abreast with operations of council. This was when the councillors felt that, okay, now we're going to work with these vendors.
Right.
And then subsequently, we got advice, I believe, that this is not a good idea.
Yes.
This would not be by process.
Right.
You guys have to go through a tender, through your contracts committee. That's when the situation evolved. Now, of course, if the same vendor the councillors wanted to partner with bids in that competitive process and eventually wins that competitive process, people might say, okay, he he already started chatting with them, etc., etc., etc. I mean, if it looks bad, doesn't mean it's bad. As far as the right procedures were followed, when the decision was making, it was the best decision at the time to the best of our ability. It was truly the best product with the best financing scheme and the best prices at the time. Then, yeah, then it's a good purchase on behalf of the council.
Yes, so not the purchase. The purchase can be good. Yeah. The outcome can in fact be the intention would be to serve the people, which no one should can question. The idea here is the legitimacy of the process, so that if already through several deliberations that experts were invited, they had meetings with council, with contrast committees, as far back as 2018, up to a point that the General Council was satisfied, and they came up with a decision that now this contract be awarded to Espas Motors. Now you have 2019, and they said that later I read to you, sorry, the minutes of meeting I read to you, saying, well, we have to follow procurement process, we have to regularize. It seems more of a formality than a fair process to other bidders.
So it is a fair process. I know it can look a certain way, but certainly the problem is when the bids were advertised, there is no respondents. So the problem is Espas cannot be competent, and that is the fact that's been proven with all the similar bids that they have been winning. Recently with Birkama Area Council, Banjul City Council, even with the OIC peoples, because they're the only group that has a bank as part of their makeup. So the problem was lack of choice. I mean, I would support your argument, or your argument may have some sort of credibility if the bids came and there was, let's say, Sheikh Ahmadi is also offering similar package, CFAO is offering similar package, but I mean, nobody can compete them. That's the challenge. That's the problem.
But someone can say that the terms and the requirements would have been carved out to suit the already agreed supplier.
Not really. I mean, the biggest problem for us was the ability of the vendor to refinance.
Right.
I think that was the challenge. We would have liked it even to be longer because council has many priorities, given that waste management, even though waste management is our number one problem. Right. I think that was the edge for many of us, the ability that, okay, now we can get these working tools without having to shell out $100 million.
Now, at the time the council arrived to a resolution to award the contract, going by that resolution, to Espas Motors, what was the issue with respect to engaging other suppliers at the time? Because they were not engaged in this period.
Yeah, so this is not a contract. I think this is sort of an agreement to work with them. It could be an MOU, it could be go ahead, I give you the approval to go ahead and start building some sort of partnership. The experts who said, no, this has to be through a proper procurement process, either an expert or the lawyer. But certainly we were advised that this is not the best course of action. And that's why it was reversed. Now, I remember specifically, during the bid, if I remember, when we were sitting at the council floor, TK Motors had also bidded. But the issue for the councillors was they were not in a position to pre-finance. They wanted a 3-month payment plan, if my memory serves me correct. Now, 3 months and 3 years, I mean, you cannot compare.
Now, in 2019, January 2019, the position of the Council of the Contrast Committee did not change. I have a Contrast Committee meeting, minutes of the 14th of January 2019. Sorry, the 13th of June 2019, where still the question regarding the agreement was discussed. You'll see on page 1.8. you please mind reading that?
This is contract committee meeting.
Yes.
Dated 13 June 2019.
Yes.
And 1.8, a question was raised about the 19 Ward Trucks contract agreement with Espas Motors, and management is assigned to share documents signed with the company for the experts in contract committee to verify and ensure it is not cancelled, but the wards that should enter into an agreement in signing the document, as well as to ensure it is clearly spelled out on the document that the truck are not council's facility but the 19 wards. Furthermore, management was advised not to sign any loan agreement with Espas Ajib, but each of the wards should sign for the respective trucks 77. So, Jaja signed, Jaja is the chairman of the CEO is the chairman of the contracts committee.
Yes.
And it seems this meeting is already 3 months after the contract he already signed.
Yes.
So I don't know what they were discussing, but as far as I'm concerned, this was already done and dusted.
Exactly.
So he's best to answer what they were discussing exactly.
Yes.
But it makes absolutely no sense to me because we had already signed the contract as it is, and he signed that contract.
Yes.
So I don't know what he was referring to.
Exactly. May I please say those minutes? Because, like you said, exactly, if Jaya Champs was is the ones who signed the contract in March 2019, and is still stating that there were concerns still regarding the agreement
By some of the contract
committee members. And let me read it again, which says that the question was raised. A question was raised asked about the 19 World Trucks contract agreement with Espas Motors, and management is assigned to share documents signed with the company for the experts in the contract committee to verify and ensure it is not cancelled for the wards that should enter into an agreement in this signed document, as well as to ensure it is clearly spelled out on the documents that the trucks are not council's facility for the 19 wards. Furthermore, management was advised not to sign any loan agreement with Espas, but each of the wards should sign for their respective trucks. So again, like you said, he signed in March. April, May, June, he is not saying that he is the one who is challenging the process, or to state that the press was wrong. But what he was saying is a member who raised the issue that the position of council did not change. And so that if council is to go ahead and sign a contract in March, that would, in the opinion of the member, or the position of the member who raised it, it would have been against the constant position of council or the contracts committee that the council should not sign this agreement.
So the discussion in that meeting, like you said, that area, I don't know what the member was actually talking about.
Right.
Because he's referring to a contract that's already signed.
Yes.
3 months after the fact.
Yes.
And they are the contracts committee who recommends and deals with GPPA.
Right.
And he's the chairman who signed the contract.
Right.
So I don't know whether it's an error in the capturing of what that person was trying to express, but it makes no sense. Why would you discuss a contract that you, the contracts committee, already signed? So it makes absolutely no sense. That's why I said maybe it's best for Jaja to explain.
We will call Jaja tomorrow.
Yes, but what I was basically referring to was the concept initially was, yes, let's do this through our WDC. Yes, we use our WDCs and then we can bypass GPA, etc. That was going to change. Also, when we signed the contract, the idea was still let the WDCs operate these trucks, right? But along the line, that also changed. This Mbalit has always been a consistent push or tug of war between the wards and the councillors and the administration. But the administration was always saying, we are the accounting officers. You guys don't have capacity. We should be the implementers and not you guys. So when you said, well, how come then that is not featured in the contractual agreement? Yes, those amendments should have been made. Maybe they were brought up. I don't remember, But certainly, in hindsight, many things could have been corrected.
So what this tells me in 1.8 is the question I have been asking, and you have said you need a lot of digging to find out that, for instance, the position of council or a committee would have to change by evidence of agreement, right? You agree with that? The position of a council or a committee, for instance, if a committee holds one position, for that change, or their superseding position, there must be evidence of that. To say, now we have said earlier at some point that this was the position, now it has changed to this. The Act told us, or tells us, as to how council changes positions based on voting, right? So that's why I am asking, because it's raised in June, 3 months after the contract is signed. And I am not saying, for instance, whether the member is right to state that the position did not change. But if you look at the wording, it is such that it is saying that management is assigned to share the document signed with the company for the experts in the contracts committee to verify and ensure it is not council, but the words that should enter into an agreement in this signing the document, as well as to ensure it is clearly spelled out on the document. So that what he is saying is, or she is saying is, this was the earlier position. We want to verify when we see the contract document that you did not do otherwise. I don't know whether you see my point.
Can I read that again? But I believe it is best for the contracts committee chairperson. I'm not part of those meetings, but certainly that discussion is something should have happened before they signed.
Right.
Because they're the ones who negotiate and sign. So it says, a question was raised about 19 Watt Trucks contract agreement with Espas Motors, and management is assigned to share documents signed with the company for the experts in the contract committee to verify and to ensure it is not council but the wards that should enter into the agreement in signing the document, as well as to ensure it is clearly spelled out in the document that the trucks are not council's facility but the 19 wards. Furthermore, management was advised not to sign any loan agreement with Espas Agip. So basically, I guess it's an expert who wants to verify what they discussed. So I think the chairperson of the contracts committee should answer that, who's the CEO. So maybe he had acted without consulting his experts. So maybe, but that's certainly what is implying.
Good.
But one thing that is clear is, as per the agreement, the trucks should be in the name of the wards and the Espas Motors, which I believe is in the agreement. And also, it should not be a loan agreement, which I believe is not a loan agreement. They just wanted to verify those things, because council was very adamant that we cannot take any loans. So
why was that?
As per the law, we cannot put taxpayers' money at risk. If the project failed, basically, we cannot lose out, because in a standard loan, if you take 100 million loan, no matter whether you pay the vendor or not, the bank comes to collect.
Okay.
Yeah, so, but in this agreement, is a pre-finance. What you pay is what you keep. What you don't pay, you don't keep.
Okay. So, if council is to not pay Espas Motors, what happens?
Then we would have to sit down with Espas. We calculate the value of what is already paid, and we calculate that as far as trucks are concerned. That's why we said it's a joint ownership.
So Espas cannot hold you responsible to pay the full amount?
No.
At all? At all. So is that in the contract?
That's why, yes, if you look at the contract, it says it should be joint ownership, and the trucks themselves will serve as the collateral.
Good. And so if that is the case, and KMC did not factor all this, they didn't factor that the trucks, the word WDC cannot finance this initially, and then agreement is signed which shows that WDC will finance, will procure this. Now that it is evident that the WDC cannot finance this, would it not just be best to not tap from other revenue lines and do exactly what you said? The amount that was paid in the beginning was $4 million or thereabout. amount that was paid, we see what we do with the trucks, and then we share the losses because the contract was not very clear in the first place.
Yeah, so remember, our challenge was waste management.
Right.
We are servants of the community. Our goal is how do we clear waste from the communities?
Right.
And that was the biggest challenge in KMC.
Right.
If you remember 2017, rioters from the market dumped waste in front of the mayor's office. So that always serves as a guide to clear waste in our communities. And this was our best bet, having tapped all potentials at the time. We asked government for help, that was not coming. We were looking for grants, that was not coming. So we found this model as the best way to do it. So the goal was not about, contracts or whatnot. The goal is we need trucks to fix this problem.
Right.
How best we can do it in the most practicable way, we would do it. Along the way, of course, in hindsight always, we say, oh, we should have tried that, we should have done that, we should have corrected that. But what the council continually does is self-correct and learn on the job. True, there's always lapses, it's normal. But to learn on the job, adjust accordingly, consult, turn in the right corners and avoid big blunders that would collapse the council. And alhamdulillah, after 3 years, we fully own the trucks and we collect 70% of waste in the municipality.
Yes. It's because you said that you would not go for a loan facility because that will be a risk, a financial risk to council.
Yes.
But it ended up being a financial risk to council because council still keep on paying.
Not really.
The 4 million you paid first, was it budgeted for?
I would have to refer to what budget line they had charged that 4 million and refer to the exact budget at the time.
Okay, we have the voucher and the budget for 2019 and the payment voucher. Whilst we are looking at it, okay, see here. Do you have the voucher with you? Okay. Is the voucher with you?
No, the voucher is not.
Mayor Bensouda, before you proceed on that, what was the total sum paid after the 3 years?
Based on my recollection, on the 19 trucks, the contract was $105 million for the 19 trucks.
105
and there was
million.
Yes.
This is what I'm asking is what is the actual payment that was done? Because you just said a few minutes ago that after 3 years you fully paid the sum total.
105 million should be the all-inclusive cost.
That was what was paid.
Yes.
Please provide us evidence of payment of this entire 105 million.
I believe the CEO has submitted all the vouchers, according to them, all the payment vouchers.
Yes, but the reason why I'm asking, we have perused the documents.
Okay.
We cannot see the entire 105 million.
The CEO should be in a position to show.
Can you liaise with the CEO and provide us with this?
That is Jaja Cham. He's in another
Yes.
area council now.
Yes, but you can liaise with him to provide us with this information because there's supposed to be documents in the custody of the council.
Well, they said they submitted all their vouchers here because I've been asking for many things. They said they submitted all the vouchers here. So I think what they should show us is the budget lines they were charging this payment from, because what the council was doing, every year we would introduce a budget line for the trucks.
So just take note and liaise with Mr. Chan to provide evidence of the payment of this 100 million. We have gone through and we cannot do you confirmations on this?
So I think he's in, because I tried to contact him for other documents, he's in France. So I think him and the Director of Finance, Serif Njai, they were the ones making these payments. When I asked them, they said they've submitted everything to the commission. So I think it would be better if we could call them and then they could.
Yes, but they are not sitting here. We have asked, and the reason why we are asking is because you are conversant with the transaction of this project. One, two, these were your subordinates. And it's to call them to say, I have been requested to bring these documents to the commission, and please, you know what to do. So we are requesting that you provide us with this through your staff.
I will try to ask them.
Yes. And then the other thing I wanted to add before I get you back to council is, can you also provide us with the tender documents from the bidders for this?
I believe they said they submitted all
Yes,
these documents.
Mamta, we have those ones.
You have the tender documents? Thank you for that.
Yes, you wanted me to check the budget line?
Do you want to proceed?
Yes, proceed, yes.
Thank you. Yes, we want to confirm because as we've agreed the last time, looking at the financing of the Act 2004, that payments that are made must be budgeted for, so that in 2019, when the first 4 million was paid to Quantum, it should have been in the budget for the trucks.
So on this payment voucher, they're not referring to any budget line?
All right. And well, if you need time, we can give you time. But apparently, the payments that are made, if they are not budgeted for, would not be proper.
Yeah, so like I said, I don't know what budget line they use for
Yes.
this. I would love for Jaja to have to understand what payment line he used for this. But like I've said many a times, I believe the internal audit or national audit, usually they should bring this to the attention of the council, that there's a payment that is made, is unbudgeted, etc., so that the adjustments can be made. But one thing I know, in 2020, the amounts were inserted in our budget. I believe it was 46 million a year.
Right. Right. So, Jaja, by this time, his limit would have been for $500,000, the limit for Jaja as CEO.
I would assume he got council approval.
So, then can we wait? Because if there's council's approval, it will, the minutes will show that there was approval from council.
If there's council approval, I will find out. But I assume this project was approved by council and the subsequent payments were approved by council.
All right. And so, does council have authority, do you know, to approve a payment that is not budgeted for?
Yes, it's simple. You do supplementary or viament. That process usually happens.
And do you know whether viament was done for the 4 million or a supplementary budget?
These are all things the finance committee or the chairman of the contracts committee should know very well, but we can always find out.
All right, very well. We will give the witness time to find out the 4 million that was paid. At some point, we will come back to the price at some point, but then an additional 8 skip bins were procured. Do you recall this?
So there was 2 transactions, one for the mallet, the
Right.
other one was for 4 additional trucks.
Right.
I believe one of them was a skip truck with
Right.
eight. I remember 10, but they say 8 skip bins.
Yes.
You submitted. There were 2 skip trucks.
Okay, 2 skip trucks.
Yes.
And
The documents we had.
it should have been 10 skip bins. I'm not sure, maybe it's 8.
Do we know whether this was subjected to procurement process?
I believe they were going through the same process as the mallet trucks.
Okay. Now, we know the 8 skip bins were not subjected to any procurement process. I mean, in the minutes of meeting, Contracts Committee minutes of meeting 21st of November 2019, we have confirmed this with even the representatives of AGIP. They didn't take part in any any procurement process for this. But 5.0 talks about EOB in other business. Says the CEO referred. Sorry, 5.2. He further informed the meeting that after accepting to order and supply the additional 8 bins from the same manufacturer of two bins that come with the skip trucks to be procured, Espas Motors has delivered the bins at a unit price of $450,000, totaling to 3.6. Observe that in efforts to verify the market price of the bins, management has sought for a quota from another company for locally made bins at a cost of $250,000 each. After thorough discussion on the matter, the meeting suggested that management to invite Espas for a negotiation in the price that they offered compared to the other company that was way below their price. Now, in this 5.2, they were discussing the bins that Espas was charging $450,000, and which total would be 3.6 million. And when they found out through market research, they realized a bin would cost $250,000. Was this known to council?
So the skip bins are bought with the skips. So I don't know why that discussion should come up, because the reason you buy a skip truck is to have a complementary skip bin. So skip bins come as a complementary product to skip trucks.
Right.
But that skip truck is useless.
Yes.
So basically, I don't know why it was not part of the purchase. That the CEO is best to answer that.
Right.
Because you cannot buy a skip truck of a certain specification and then go buy a skip bin which is not of that specification. We even had an issue in the case of Ibo Town Badala. We had a project sponsor one skip bin, and the councillor decided that they wanted to do a local, I think it was a WDC project called the PSUP through the Ministry of Lands and Local Government. So they gave the funds to the WDC. The councillor, instead of going to Espas, decided the WDC is going to go to a local welding parcel. They created a skip bin. It's still stuck in Ibo Town Badala because there's no compatibility with our trucks. Our trucks cannot lift it. So when you are buying a skip truck, you should always buy the complementary skip bin. Yes. Or it's not compatible.
Exactly. So very correct. Now, how would council supervise this? Because to make sure that the additional procurement that was done, if there is need to do additional procurement based on the fault of council through its committees as well, through its committees, would it be right to go ahead with the procurement without following due process?
Well, they have to follow the due process, meaning they have to go through another procurement. So like I said, the chairman of the committee, I can't remember whether this was ever brought to the council. I assume it was part of one purchase.
The same with the truck. So 5.1 rates, the CEO referred the committee to its decision at the 31st December meeting for the acquisition of 8 additional skip trucks, buckets, bracket bins that was oversighted in the specification. During the procurement process of the council trucks, he emphasized that on a monthly basis, council outsources the management of the various communal dump sites at strategic positions within the municipality at an exorbitant cost, and it is prudent to provide an everlasting solution. So again, the bins together with the trucks, so the skip trucks, you realize that 8 of them were still subjected to procurement without following GP regulations.
So I guess he realized there was an oversight issue. So they should have come back to the same process to correct that oversight issue.
Now,
but we assume that it came as a complementary product.
Okay. Now, what was council's responsibility in making sure? Because if we talk about back to the issue of authorization for withdrawal, and the CEO at the time who signs checks and the finance director together, they know they cannot sign checks of these amounts without following due process. The limit at the time was $500,000. Now, who has the the responsibility to make sure they perform their oversight function in making sure that there is procurement adherence procedures.
So this could be traced by internal audit, it could be traced by the finance committee, local government accounts committee, or the national audit office. But to my knowledge, nobody traced this.
Now, were they delivered?
The skip buckets here with the trucks.
Okay. Now, if they were delivered, would that not, because the approval is only for 19 trucks. So if they were delivered, should questions not be asked by council to say, well, we never had approval for this. We only had approval for 19 trucks and that's it. And that should be paid for.
So to the council's knowledge and to my knowledge, it's a complementary, like I said. You cannot buy skip trucks without skip buckets. So we see them together. It's obvious that these things are coming together. So it's a complementary. It's the only way a skip truck can work is with a skip bucket.
But if you have a skip bucket that fits the specification, why purchase it?
Say it again?
If you have a skip bin, let's say you want to procure 10 trucks, in your case 19 trucks, KMC, but there are already skip bins that are available. Let's assume they were available. Now, you can still buy the trucks without the bins.
No. So I think maybe, so in the areas that are termed as communal dumps,
Right.
so the previous council used to hire a company, one of its councillors.
Right.
They will place trucks in strategic area.
Right.
So Bundum Jola Kunda, Bako Zone, Bakau Nenewali, Bakau K Point, Kanifing South. So these trucks, because they don't have waste collection, these trucks will be parking there all day.
Right.
So members of the community will bring their trash to these collection points. When the truck is full, it will go to the Bakote dump site and come back. But remember, these are just areas that are strategic dump sites, meaning if you don't leave the truck there, the community will turn it into a dump site. When KMC, our KMC came, the practice continued, but not with the old contractor. The management found a new contractor, but it's exorbitantly expensive because these trucks would have to stay in these locations. You can be paying hundreds of thousands of dollars. It doesn't solve the household collection of waste. What it solves is the illegal dumps. Because now if you move these trucks away, people still come and dump. Eventually you will have to hire a shovel loader at $40,000 a day to shovel these waste into another truck. So that can cost you $100,000 for even one dump site. So basically the strategy, the waste management strategy as per our Director of Services or Department of Services is the council needs two solutions. One, how do we get rid of illegal dump sites or communal dump sites? And two, how do we collect waste at the household level? So the compactor trucks are brought to collect waste at the household level. The skip trucks are a strategic machinery that can now get rid of these communal dumps. So one skip truck can drop many skip bins. They take it from the annex, drop it at the strategic location. Go back to the annex, pick another one, drop it. When it's full, the attendant will call the truck to come pick it, tip it at the dump site, and bring the skip back. So the skip bin has to be compatible with the skip truck. So they are sold as a complementary product. They cannot be sold separately. However, some local weldermen look at it and say, oh, I can also recreate the skip bin, like in the case of Ibotown Badala. They tried and they failed. When the skip truck goes, it has compatibility issues. It cannot pick the bin. Now KMC has about 30 skip bins and about, I believe, 30 skip bins and 4 skip trucks. When one is full, they pick, they tip, they return. They pick and tip and return. So that is the essence of that skip bin.
Okay. Yeah. Now, if you say it is sold as a complementary,
yes,
to whatever the trucks, what would you mean by that?
So, what example can I use? So it's a complementary product. It's like a telephone and a SIM card. So you cannot use a telephone without a SIM card. So
Right, but we buy telephones all the time, and then they don't give you SIM cards, Mr. Ben.
well, with technology now, but imagine when you had 3310 without a SIM card, you know.
Yeah.
So this is basically the SIM card to the telephone. It's a complementary.
So when you buy it from Africell or QCell and they have their promotions, it comes with a SIM card. Yes,
I don't want to
have
go to SIM card debate, but
you brought it up.
you know, it's a complementary product, basically. They sort of connect.
Right.
Right. So the challenge now, if you go to a local welder, I mean, we have very good welders.
Yes.
But they are not using computers. They are not using machines that are welding to precision.
Right.
So that skip bin in Ibo Town, when it lifted it, it couldn't go on the skip truck.
So let me give it a definition the way I understand it. So you're saying you can't have a skip bin without a skip truck without having a skip bin.
No.
Is that what you meant by complementary?
Yes, it's basically useless.
Okay, good. And I agree with that. Now, to bring it back to procurement issues, right? So you need a skip bin and you need a skip truck. So it's complementary, and that's how it's supposed to work. Because if you have a skip truck and you don't have the bin that fits well with the truck, then there's no point, right? No point. Now, do you buy them together or do you buy them separate?
You have to buy them together.
Okay.
It makes no sense.
Sense. Now, if it is to be bought together and it is not bought together, is that KAS's fault or KMC's fault?
There's definitely a lapse somewhere. Somebody was not paying attention. Somebody
Where?
was
Who?
not doing their job.
Who was that?
Well, ESPA shouldn't sell a truck without a bin, but definitely the onus of responsibility is on the CEO, who should ensure that it's compatible. But maybe he was not knowledgeable at the time or too busy.
How about council?
CEOs of KMC are too busy. Well, I think from our impression, how it was presented, well, these are complementary products.
So, which means if the understanding of council, see the importance now of having very clear terms of in a contract. So, if the understanding of council is such that the trucks come with the skip bin, right?
Yeah.
And you receive the trucks, 19 trucks, and you realize that they did not come with skip bins, right?
I believe they were delivered together.
So the eight. They were all of them are delivered together?
I believe so, yes.
Yes, but what I mean for the pricing, what you've paid for. So what you've paid for is 19 trucks, and you have to subsequently pay more for the bins. Right? So who bears the financial burden? If the understanding of KMC or the General Council is that they come together. So now who has the financial burden when it is not factored in the contract?
So if it's not factored in the contract, definitely it should have been advised by ESPAS, but the responsibility, like I said, is with the customer, which is the council, with CEO. So how it fell through the cracks where nobody saw it, like I said, the councils rely on the expertise of contracts committees and the CEOs to ensure that this is done.
Yes.
And if it's not done, it should have been brought back to the council and say, look, we did this mistake. We have to go through another procurement process, etc. Now, this has to all be captured, of course, during the meetings, etc.
Yeah.